Well, it was sort of inevitable I'd have to weigh in on this anyway, and probably hear a roaring in the background. That's my fireplace going because it costs too much to turn the damn furnace on, so I'm burning wood. But anyway, going back to the CEO that was shot. Everybody's hand-wringing the CEO, but now they're starting to realize how hated these insurance companies are. And somebody might say, well, murder this, and I said, you know something? This was coming anyway. No matter what anybody thinks or says, this was inevitable. You can only fuck with the people for so long, and then they'll start fucking back. And that's exactly what happened. United Healthcare is notorious for denying roughly 30 or so more percent of their claims, and they also use AI to determine these claims. So not even a human being is deciding your medical treatment. Now you have AI doing it. And this was enabled years ago by none other. If I remember right now, I could be wrong, that you never had to use an insurance company years ago to see a doctor. This was enabled by Richard Nixon, who put a middleman in between us and the doctors. And these middlemen make a fortune doing this. That's why they're millionaires, CEOs. So every time you have to go get a medical decision made, the insurance company has to make that decision, obviously. And it got so bad that people were dying and are still dying because they're denied medical care. And I can't even think of how many GoFundMes I've contributed to over the last few years of friends that couldn't afford to pay their medical bills or had passed on and couldn't afford to pay their funeral expenses. That's not what this country is supposed to be about. This country is not supposed to be about a bunch of rich pricks who fucking sit around in offices immune to everything and make this life and death decisions for the rest of us. And the people would say, well, we had a family. His wife knew what was going on. They all know what was going on. And now they're scrambling. There's private security firms are saying that their phones are ringing off the hook because these real rich millionaire tough guys need protection. They're afraid. The CEO's names have been taken off certain medical websites. Anthem, who basically made some stupid fucking call about limiting anesthesia during surgery, quickly retracted that. So all I can say is keep the pressure on. And this guy who did this obviously knew what he was doing and obviously isn't even in the fucking country anymore. And nobody's going to give this guy up because nobody likes medical insurance companies. Realize that. They're a bunch of pricks. And my own experiences haven't been that wonderful either. One time I was driving to a procedure when my cell phone rang and I was told not to go to the procedure because the insurance company had just called and canceled the procedure. Before I moved up to Ohio, I was in Jersey. This was like toward the end of, middle of the 2000s, and I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. And I opted to have major surgery to have it removed. Well, I never got to a room because the insurance wouldn't approve a room. I was kept in a recovery room all night with a draft on me, was sent home. 3 days later, I was in the ER with a collapsed lung due to bad blood work that was done. They didn't realize that I had a tendency to blood clots. So for them to save money, I spent 10 days in the most miserable fucking hospital in the world, St. Barnabas Medical Center in Livingston, New Jersey. Sue me because this is on file about how bad it was. So that was one of the first times. Another time was basically that I had medical insurance in Jersey that I was paying close to $900 a month for that nobody would accept. That's another thing, because not everybody takes these damn insurance things. So now we segue up into the violence against the CEOs. Well, you know something? Go talk to your congressman, because they enabled all this shit. Because the NRA owns Congress. And I don't see that much hand-wringing about a school shooting when a bunch of kids get gunned down, but when a rich guy gets gunned down, all of a sudden, we got to protection. No, we have to have proper medical care in this country and eliminate these fucking insurance companies from fucking it up. It's that simple. So, like I said, Congress enabled us, in as much calls as there were for gun control and shit like that, it never happened. It's never going to happen because Congress people are fat, dumb, and happy because they're getting paid off. Well, guess what? You've allowed all of us to get armed. And in allowing all of us to get armed, Did you really think in your little fucking pathetic brains that we wouldn't fight back when pushed? Well, we just started fighting back. What are you going to do about it? Do a gun grab? You'll start a revolution. You enabled this. You politicians and you fucking insurance people enabled this to happen. And I'm not saying the doctors aren't guilty either, because when I first moved up here, I had to go on Medicaid. And I was assigned a doctor. And the doctor was Muhammad something. When he stood 3 feet behind me with a stethoscope held up and told me to take deep breaths. This guy didn't want to touch me. It was obviously he didn't like white people. Fine, that's what we're getting here. These are the people that milk the system and rip it off. And you can lay the opioid crisis right at the foot of the drug companies and doctors. Because every time I got a tooth pulled or had something done, Vicodin, Oxycontin, whatever, they handed it out like candy. So it's not the street drug dealers that are responsible for the opioid crisis. It's the medical profession and the insurance companies that are responsible for the opioid crisis. So where does this leave us? With a bunch of frightened CEOs that are cowering behind their doors now because they know their number might be up? Well, the answer is simple. Give us universal health care. Every other country in the fucking world has universal health care. And don't tell us how shitty it is, because it ain't that shitty. We only get the information that you fucking feed us, and we're tired of eating the same old shit. So here's your wake-up call. I hope it woke your asses up, because you know something? One's a good start. And people might say, you're a prick for saying that. No, I'm not, because these people have cost people their lives, have bankrupted people, have put people out on the street, all for the fact that they want to stay rich and they're above us all. No more. Let's end this shit.